Madam Tiwalade, tell me now, what is it that you put in this food? Why does everyone come running to you, but no one touches my rice? I've been cooking for months and nothing is working.
Ronke, slow down, my child. Take a breath. Why are you shouting? This is just food.
Just food? Just food! Don't you see the crowd, Mama? They come from everywhere just for your rice. Tell me what secret you are hiding, now!
They said her food carried something more than taste. People crossed towns just to eat it. But the day jealousy entered her pot, a silent war began, and only one woman had clean hands. Stay with me. This story will teach you why not every power makes noise. No one remembered exactly when the smell started, but everyone remembered what it did. By 6 o'clock every morning, before the sun fully rose, the air around Aroko Junction would change. Not slowly, not gently. It would hit you suddenly, thick, warm, and unforgettable. People said if hunger had a smell, this was it. Children walking to school would stop. Bus drivers would roll down their windows. Market women would pause mid-argument, and without asking questions, their feet would turn in the same direction, toward Mama Tiwalade's pot. Mama Tiwalade was not loud. She did not shout prices. She did not beg customers. She simply cooked. Her rice was deep orange, not oily, not dry. Each grain stood on its own, soft but confident. The meat was always tender. The scent alone could make a grown man forget his anger. People said, if you haven't eaten Mama Tiwalade's rice, you haven't eaten rice. They called it destiny rice, because once you tasted it, you always came back. For 9 solid years, Mama Tiwalade sold out before noon, sometimes before 10. Some customers traveled from other neighborhoods. Some walked before dawn to secure a plate. Some bought extra to take home, not for guests, but for themselves. And through it all, Mama Tiwalade remained calm. She greeted people softly. She counted change carefully. She prayed quietly before lighting her stove. Her life was simple. Her hands were clean, and her business grew without noise. Ronke arrived in Aroko, like someone running from her past. She was beautiful once, still was if you looked closely. But life had pulled her roughly. She had lived nights she didn't like to remember, loved men who never stayed, spent money that never lasted. Now her body was tired. Her luck felt finished. Ronke needed a new beginning. And every afternoon, she sat under a mango tree opposite Mama Tiwalade's stand, watching the crowd, watching the money, watching the respect, watching how people smiled when they ate. This woman, Ronke muttered one day, is not ordinary. She started buying Mama Tiwalade's food daily, not just to eat, to observe. She watched how she washed rice, how she stirred, how she served. Nothing looked strange. No chants, no powders, no rituals. Yet, the magic remained. One morning, Ronke gathered courage. "Mama," she said softly, "I want to sell food too. Life is hard." Mama Tiwalade looked at her, studied her face, then smiled. Food business is not a fight. Everybody must survive. Those words planted something dangerous in Ronke's heart. Ronke opened her stall 2 weeks later. Same rice, same vegetables, same plates, but not the same outcome. Some days she sold 1 plate, some days none. People passed her shop like it didn't exist. From morning till evening, she watched customers bypass her and gather at Mama Tiwalade's place. That was when admiration slowly turned into resentment. How can two people cook the same food? Ronke whispered. And only one person succeeds. That night, jealousy became curiosity. Curiosity became suspicion. And suspicion became obsession. Ronke started watching Mama Tiwalade closely. Too closely. She watched her close shop, watched her walk home, watched her sleep. Some nights, Ronke hid near her compound, convinced she would catch something unusual. A ritual, a sacrifice, a secret. But night after night, Mama Tiwalade slept peacefully. No mystery, no darkness, only silence. Ronke grew angry. If I can't understand her success, she thought, then I will interrupt it. That decision would open a door Ronke would later wish she never touched. Ronke did not sleep that night. Her mat felt hard. Her room felt tight. Her thoughts refused to rest. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the same thing. People lining up, laughing, eating. Not at her stall, at Mama Tiwalade's. By dawn, Ronke had already made up her mind. She was done watching. It was time to act. That morning, the fire under Mama Tiwalade's pot burned brighter than usual. The aroma rose early and spread fast through Aroko Junction. People began gathering before the rice was even ready. Ronke stood across the road, pretending to arrange her empty pots, her eyes fixed on the large steaming cauldron. Her heart pounded. This is the moment, she told herself. When Mama Tiwalade stepped inside her shop to fetch water, Ronke moved. Fast. Too fast to think twice. She slipped across the road, glanced around, then reached into her wrapper and pulled out a tiny sachet of white grains, something a friend from her old life had once given her. Just in case, the woman had said. Ronke sprinkled it into the pot, just a little. Her hand shook as she ran back. Mama Tiwalade returned, added water, stirred, and continued cooking, unaware that jealousy had just touched her pot. By noon, something unusual happened. The rice finished faster than ever. In less than 20 minutes, every plate was gone. Customers who arrived late waited long, but there was no more food. For the first time in years, hungry people crossed the road to Ronke's stall. Her heart jumped. People sat. They ordered. They ate. Ronke smiled, so wide her cheeks hurt. Finally, she thought, I have arrived. But celebration did not last long. A man stood up suddenly, clutching his stomach. Another dropped his spoon. Someone screamed, "My stomach!" Chaos erupted. People ran. Some begged for water. Some ran behind shops. Some cried openly. Ronke stood frozen. Her joy collapsed into fear. By evening, the entire junction was buzzing with warnings. Don't eat from Ronke's place. Her food is dangerous. If you value your stomach, avoid her. The next day, her stall was empty again. But Mama Tiwalade's, it became even more crowded. Ronke couldn't understand it. I touched her pot, she whispered to herself. So why did my food destroy people? Her confusion hardened into anger. This woman, Ronke muttered, is protected. That thought did not stop her. It pushed her further. One morning, Ronke swallowed her pride. She walked to Mama Tiwalade's stall and knelt. My business has failed, she said softly. Please, let me help you. Mama Tiwalade studied her carefully. I work alone because I value peace, she replied. I promise peace, Ronke said quickly. After a long pause, Mama Tiwalade agreed.
Ronke entered the lion's den. She washed plates, served customers, cleaned pots, and watched. Days passed, then weeks. Still nothing. No charms, no powders, no strange movements. Mama Tiwalade cooked like any normal woman. Yet, the food continued to draw crowds. Ronke's confusion deepened. Since her eyes found nothing, her mouth became her weapon. She started whispering. "Be careful," she told people quietly. "That food is not ordinary." Some listened, some shrugged. For 2 days, the crowd reduced slightly. Ronke smiled. But on the third day, the shop overflowed. More customers than ever. People stood. People waited. People volunteered to wash plates just to eat faster. Mama Tiwalade increased her cooking quantity. Ronke's stomach turned. This is not normal. That night, Ronke went somewhere she should never have gone. The native doctor lived on the edge of town. His compound smelled of herbs and secrets. Ronke told him everything. "I want customers," she said. "I want favor." The man listened quietly, then handed her a charm. "Use it carefully," he warned. Ronke clutched it like hope. But hope wasn't enough. She wanted destruction. Early one morning, as Mama Tiwalade cooked, Ronke distracted her. "Someone is calling you," she said. When Mama Tiwalade stepped away, Ronke pushed something unthinkable into the pot. Something meant to humiliate, to disgrace. Then she ran. Moments later, Ronke returned with angry men. "She cooks with filth," Ronke shouted. People gasped. The pot was emptied. Nothing was found. No evidence. Only shame. People apologized to Mama Tiwalade. Ronke stood shaking. For the first time, fear crawled into her chest. What kind of woman cannot be touched? Weeks passed. Ronke reopened her stall. Her charm worked, slowly. But Mama Tiwalade still ruled the streets. One afternoon, Ronke watched the crowd across the road and made a final, dangerous vow. "If I can't take her customers," she whispered, "I will take her hands." Ronke did not hesitate. Once the thought entered her mind, it refused to leave. She replayed it again and again while stirring her own pot that nobody came to eat. If Mama Tiwalade cannot cook, then no one will gather. That night, Ronke returned to the bush path behind the market, to the man whose hands smelled of herbs and blood sacrifice. The native doctor looked up as Ronke entered. "You again?" "I want her hands useless," Ronke said plainly. "I want her never to cook again." The man stiffened. He stared at her for a long time. "That woman," he said slowly, "walks with clean feet." Ronke scoffed. "There is no such thing." The man shook his head. "If I do this, it will return to you." Ronke threw money on the floor. "I don't care." Silence fell. The fire crackled. The native doctor sighed deeply and began the ritual. Something heavy shifted in the air. Ronke woke up smiling. She stretched and screamed. Her hands would not move. They felt cold, dead, heavy. She tried again. Nothing. Panic seized her. With her feet, she dragged her phone closer and called the native doctor. His voice was calm. "I warned you." "What do I do?" Ronke cried. "There is only one solution," he replied. "Beg the woman you tried to destroy." 2 days passed. Pain arrived. Then swelling.
Then a smell. Ronke's hands began to rot. Her screams echoed through the compound. Neighbors gathered. Her mother arrived from the village, weeping. When Ronke confessed, her mother did not shout. She only said one sentence: "Let us go and beg." They carried Ronke to Aroko Junction. People gathered. Mama Tiwalade stopped cooking when she saw them. Ronke fell to the ground. She confessed everything. The poison, the lies, the charms, the hatred. Mama Tiwalade listened silently. Then she spoke. "I have never harmed anyone." She told her story, her father, his warning, the blessing. "Clean hands are protection," she said softly. She forgave Ronke. "I leave judgment to God." Within a week, Ronke's hands healed, but her pride never did. She left town quietly. Mama Tiwalade continued cooking. Her rice tasted the same, because goodness, once rooted, cannot be shaken. Ronke left Aroko before sunrise. No announcement, no goodbye, no anger left to spend. She packed her clothes into one bag and followed her mother back to the village. Not because she wanted peace, but because the town now reminded her of everything she had lost. Some people said she cried the whole journey. Others said she did not speak at all. But everyone agreed on one thing: jealousy finished what hunger could not. Back in the village, Ronke tried to start again. She sold small things, she avoided people, she kept her head down. Sometimes, when she cooked, her hands would pause over the pot, shaking slightly, as if remembering a pain her body had survived, but her spirit had not. She never returned to food business, not because she couldn't cook, but because she understood too late that success without peace is a curse. In Aroko Junction, life returned to normal, or so it seemed. Mama Tiwalade's business grew, not by force, not by manipulation, but by consistency. She expanded slowly, added another pot, then another helper, carefully chosen. She still prayed every morning. She still refused shortcuts. When people asked her secret, she answered simply, "I don't steal from tomorrow." The incident became a lesson whispered to apprentices, traders, and newcomers. Don't envy what you don't understand. Don't fight someone whose hands are clean. Hard work mixed with a pure heart is stronger than charm. Some laughed it off, some listened carefully, but everyone remembered. Years later, a young woman once asked Mama Tiwalade, "Mama, why didn't you fight back?" Mama Tiwalade smiled. "When you are innocent," she said, "you don't need to shout. Life will speak for you." She stirred her pot slowly. The aroma arose again. People gathered, as they always did, because truth does not rush. It does not announce itself. It simply endures. And so, while jealousy lost its voice, a clean life kept speaking, quietly, steadily, and forever. Thank you for staying till the end. If this story taught you something, let it stay with you. Tap like to support the channel. Share your thoughts in the comments. What lesson stood out for you? Subscribe for more powerful Nigerian stories with deep meaning. And turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story. Another story is waiting for you on the screen.